The Milwaukee Bucks will win the NBA championship this year. Haston, hit us with the scripture of the week.
Our scripture of the week, brought to you by the Richmond, Missouri United Methodist Church, comes to us from Romans chapter 10, verse 9. Because if you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. That was our scripture of the week, brought to you by the Richmond United Methodist Church. Open hearts, open minds, open doors. Check out our youth group Wednesday night at 6.
Guys, we're back.
It's good to be back.
Keep us down.
Okay, way to
From
talk.
these ashes, we will rise.
And I'm already tired of John. Okay, John, you have some trivia that's maybe going to lead into some conversation for us that we have no idea about.
Yeah. Okay. So this morning, when we were discussing what we were going to, do with this podcast, the GIF that flashed in my brain was Bart Scott saying, can't wait.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so that led me to thinking about
That's a great GIF, by the way.
Great moment, great GIF. That led me to think about, that Jets team. And then that led me to think about Mark Sanchez.
Of course.
And that led me to think about Mark Sanchez's draft. And so Mark Sanchez went number 5 overall in the 2009 draft to the New York Jets. Your trivia question is, who did the Chiefs select when they passed on Mark Sanchez in that draft?
Sorry, tell me the year again.
2009.
Ooh. That'd be a little bit early for Eric Fisher, wouldn't it?
I'll just give you this. The number 1 overall pick was Matthew Stafford.
Oh, okay. Man.
2009. Let's see.
I'm going to go Don Terry Poe, but I have no idea if that's right.
It's not.
Okay.
Was Jamal Charles before that?
No. It was LSU defensive lineman 2.0 Tyson Jackson.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
So obviously the discussion that must come from this is, if you can go back and redraft the 2009 draft, you would not choose Tyson Jackson. You would not choose Mark Sanchez. But if you had to choose one of those and you're the Kansas City Chiefs, do you take Tyson Jackson or do you take Mark Sanchez? Knowing what we know now.
I mean, I feel like if you take Mark Sanchez, then you're just going to go further into quarterback purgatory, and Patrick Mahomes probably doesn't happen.
Yeah, there's a good chance of that. I'm pretty happy with the way things have ultimately played out. With that being said, though, the Chiefs were horrible at quarterback for a long time. And I don't know. I always felt like Mark Sanchez always kind of got a rough shake in New York.
Go.
Well, I just thought that he did. I mean, they were horrible. He had a horrible team around him. It's really hard to play quarterback on a horrible team. I'm not saying he would have been that good for Kansas City, but I just think he could have had a better career.
I mean, do you remember the 2012 Chiefs? Do you know how hard it is to play quarterback on a terrible team?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're horrible, and I don't know. I felt like they fell apart after that. So I don't know. Maybe it would have been just as bad. I guess Tyson Jackson all the way.
Yeah, and you say Mark Sanchez played for a horrible team. I mean,
they made it to 2 AFC championships.
Yeah, but I think about the butt fumble days. That was after they were good.
Yeah, but I mean, part of that was because he was terrible.
So my thinking with this is, Mark Sanchez was a serviceable quarterback for a couple of years, in those AFC championship days, before he kind of fell off. I feel like if they drafted Mark Sanchez, we would have been a little happier for, a couple years, from 2009 to 2011 or something like that. We would have been happier as Chiefs fans. And we still would have been terrible come 2014. We probably still would have traded for Alex Smith. And I feel like things could have worked out the exact same way. We just might have enjoyed our lives a little bit more.
Yeah, those were some rough years as Chiefs fans.
We've talked hypothetically about Mark Sanchez much more than I ever thought we would, ever, to be honest with you.
Much more than he deserves.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I'm looking at this first round of the 2009 draft, and the 2009 draft sucked. But it didn't suck. Like, for the Packers, they got B.J. Raji and Clay Matthews in the first round. So that's pretty good. And Mizzou came out pretty well. They had that was the year Macklin went 19th, and then they had Ziggy Hood went 32nd. So they had 2 first-round draft picks that year, too. So just little notes.
That's what I'm going to name my firstborn son is Ziggy Wilson.
Ziggy Hood Wilson.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good trivia question, John. Thanks for making us talk about Mark Sanchez for 5 minutes. With that, not really with that at all, actually. I'm just going to hard transition here. As you can tell, we're back. New show, same show, but different layout. We're going to try to keep things short, concise, which is going to be really hard for some of us. And by some of us, I mean Haston. We're going to shoot for 20 to 30 minutes, get in, get out. You can get on with your week. But we appreciate the pity listens that we get. But we're glad to be back. Season 2-1 2.0. Season
whoop,
2
whoop.
2.0. Whoop, whoop. Because we kind of pretended to have season 2, but then we just stopped. Because, life. So, let's talk about the NBA, fellas. Kawhi Leonard, man. Hometown bounce.
That's why you know your rims.
That was a shooter's roll if I've ever seen one. That was incredible.
I think somehow that first bounce actually bounced. He hit the front iron, and I think it bounced towards him and somehow also hit the opposite iron. I don't know how that happened, but
it was weird. It was just weird. So we talked about this a little bit in our little group chat, and I'll pose this question. I think it'll just lead to us covering the NBA playoffs so far pretty exhaustively. Are the playoffs better this year without LeBron?
They're not better without LeBron. They just happen to be really good this year, and LeBron is not in it. That's my whole take.
Interesting. John, what says you?
I enjoy the depth of the competition. I enjoy that it feels less top-heavy. It feels less like I could have taken a nap a month ago and zoomed in now, and guess what? It's going to be LeBron versus Golden State, and Golden State's going to sweep LeBron. With that said, it does feel like something is missing. It feels a little empty. It feels like I'm just missing something, and that something is LeBron taking 11 guys that are all pretty good at basketball, but relatively just garbage.
Like Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah. And the rest of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah. But mostly Jordan Clarkson. I don't know. I'm going to play Switzerland here. It feels different. I'll give you that, but I don't really think it's worse. It's not. I think it's good that we're paying attention to everybody else. I mean, this has been, first round kind of sucked, but the second round has been pretty good. Mm-hmm. And the Warriors are interesting, and the Bucks look pretty unstoppable, except after game 1, Paul Pierce said that it was over. Side question here. We'll get back to the NBA. What the heck is Paul Pierce think he's doing?
He's trying to do the same thing that Dan Orlovsky did whenever he became an anchor. He just started saying all these crazy things to get attention brought to himself, and then over time he just became more mild with his takes, but he just had to do that to cement his place, because it's who really cares about Dan Orlovsky's opinion?
Yeah, but it's weird because Paul Pierce is going to be a Hall of Famer one day. Dan Orlovsky, no.
That's true, but that's what I think is going on. Is Paul Pierce thought, well, if people are thinking Dan Orlovsky is a legit anchor now, if I want to make a name for myself here in the anchor biz, I've already got one step ahead of him since I'm Paul Pierce, but I've just got to say some crazy stuff.
It's a heady play.
That's right.
Here's the funniest thing about it. His nickname's The Truth, and he can't say anything truthful. Anyway, back to the playoffs here. I am excited to see what happens in the NBA Finals here. Because I don't know. I can't help but feel like both the conference finals matchups aren't going to be that interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. And, you asked earlier about LeBron. It's hard for me to not feel like he's not in the playoffs because the Lakers offseason has been so crazy. Like, he's in the news every single day.
That's true. Very true.
So it doesn't really seem like I'm missing out on anything, I guess. Yeah, the NBA Finals, or the conference finals, I'm still excited for them because it's really going to show me how good Milwaukee is. I think if they come in and they win this series in 4 or 5 games, I think that they're a legitimate threat to Golden State. I'm just assuming Golden State's going to win. Yeah. They're just but I'm happy for the Trailblazers. They just making it this far has been an accomplishment for them. They're a piece or two away from really contending.
I agree with all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'm excited for this Eastern Conference Finals as well. I think Kawhi, say what you want about him. I mean, he's led a team to a championship before with the Spurs, but I mean, I just don't see them taking down the Bucks. But with that said, we haven't seen the Bucks. We've seen them this year. This is their coming out party, kind of. So, like, we'll see what they're really made of. We'll see what they really are. And when they're playing against a team that's got a little bit, I don't know, it's not like the Raptors have more playoff experience than them. I just feel like, Kawhi is a little bit more seasoned himself, and being the head of the team, like, I feel like it'll be a pretty good test. I'm excited to see what happens.
Yep, as we all are. Well, we all sounded like 3 guys who don't have enough time to watch basketball there. Some very, very empty NBA talk there. But, it's what the fans want, so we'll give it to them. Going to move on to baseball now. For those of you that don't know or don't remember, in fact, you probably don't remember because in about January or February or March, I don't even really remember, we tried to record a show and it just went terribly, so we didn't even air it. But in that show, Haston proclaimed that this year he is going to pay attention to baseball and he's going to try to watch and be a fan and learn and fall back in love with the game of baseball. So in light of that quest, we're going to put, we said 2 minutes. We're just going to put 90 seconds on the clock, and we're going to see if Haston can talk, smart, educated baseball talk for, I don't know, let's say 90 seconds. Haston, are you ready for this?
No, not at all.
Okay. Well, 5, 4, 3, 2, and you're on. 90 seconds on the clock.
Okay, guys. So here is a little bit about what I know. So Whit Merrifield playing pretty well. Hunter Dozier playing pretty well. Mondesi, he's doing all right. Alex Gordon, he's been pretty solid. Hunter Dozier, I bet you guys don't know this. Hunter Dozier, as of this Tuesday, he was 6th in the major leagues in on-base percentage.
Hold on. Stopping the clock. John, did you know that?
Yeah.
Okay. Figured. Go on.
And the Royals, their starting pitching is horrible. I don't know what they're giving up as average runs, but it's not good.
Halfway.
Their bullpen is even worse. They called up some guy named Richard Lovelady, and he had been pretty solid at AAA, but he had a pretty horrible showing his first time out. Can't remember how many runs he gave up, but it was a lot. Let's see. Yeah, the Royals, I think they've won 14 games so far this year, and I think that's the second or third worst record in the majors. So in my quest to try to fall more in love with the Royals again,
10 seconds.
It's not going so well. The Royals, they're not giving me much to be captivated about this year.
Wow, you filled the time. I mean, it was garbage analysis, but man, he and that's fair. It's hard to watch the Royals if you're trying. Like, if you have to put in effort to enjoy baseball, the Royals aren't really the best team to do that with. John, what's your analysis of Haston's analysis?
Yeah, overall, it was pretty solid. It was passing for what I was expecting. A couple fact checks. Richard Lovelady the first time out, he was actually very solid. He went 1 inning, struck out 2 guys, didn't give up any runs. The second time he came out, he came in and just struck 1 guy out, left the game. The third time he came in, so it was actually about a week after he came in the first time, he only got 1 guy out, gave up 3 runs. So, I mean, all in all, pretty good.
Yeah, I think that game was actually the one I watched, and I just thought that was his first time pitching.
Yeah, so I would say about Hastings' analysis there, it was more a tribute to his ability to talk and bloviate.
To pander, yeah. I can pander with the best of them.
Rather than actually talk baseball, but you filled the time nonetheless. So,
yeah. I think I name dropped at least 4 or 5 Royals players. So.
Right, and that's important. So, John, you have anything to add? I'll give you 15 seconds to fit as much baseball talk as you can in.
Raul Mondesi, Adalberto Mondesi, he is playing better than all right. He's playing pretty well. Hunter Dozier is going to be great. Bullpen's garbage, but here comes 2021. Pitchers
5.
are in single A. Batters are here. Let's go.
3. Nice. 13 seconds. Very good. I think that might be how we do baseball talk from now on. Give Haston 90 seconds to try to fill, and John 15 seconds to cram as much in. I think that works pretty well.
I like it.
Yep, so very good. There's our baseball talk. Moving on now. Around here, if you've been with the show, we like to ask the important questions around here. And it's NBA playoff time. NBA season's wrapping up. Baseball's in full swing. So we're going to combine the two here and ask the important question. Who would have a more successful NBA career, Bartolo Colon or Royals' beloved Billy Butler?
Hey, John, will you read the height and weight on Bartolo Colon and Billy Butler and speak just a little bit about them, so if anyone who happens to be listening is unfamiliar with them, they can get some sort of idea?
Yeah, so Billy Butler was a slow-footed DH for the Royals from about 2008, something like that, until 2014. He is listed at 6 foot 240, which is not skinny. His nickname was Country Breakfast, which is fitting, and he had a line of barbecue sauce that was pretty popular in Kansas City for I don't know. That's probably 2010, 2011. Actually, I take that back. That was 2013.
It's an accomplishment.
Yeah. Bartolo Colon, his nickname is Big Sexy. He's been pitching for forever. He's a free agent this year. He's like 95 years old. But everybody loves him. He threw a no-hitter, I think, a couple years ago. He's kind of defied age, throws the ball like 65 miles an hour, and people don't hit it somehow. He's listed at 5'11", 285, which actually, if you type in that to a BMI calculator, comes out to 39.7, which is 0.3 points away from being morbidly obese. So there you have that.
Sounds about right. I might go ahead and take this one. I'm going to give the nod to Billy Butler just because I feel like he's going to be a harder worker on the floor than Bartolo Colon. And here's the thing about Billy Butler. He, in big-time moments, is going to get just barely enough done to do whatever your team needs. Now, he's not going to be the guy that needs to take the last shot, but he might set the pick for the guy taking the last shot. And here's some examples. Remember when Billy Butler stole a base? I don't even, was that? It was in the playoffs. Was it in the World Series, John?
It was the wild card game.
Wild card game. Oh,
yeah.
that crazy one.
Yeah,
we all know what it was because it just happened one time.
Right. That time. Remember that time that Billy Butler stole a base?
It's the time.
Yeah.
The time that Billy Butler stole a base.
But that was a big moment, and it's something that you don't really expect, and he just barely got it done. And he had, at least among people I know, had the maybe not so endearing nickname Warning Track Billy. He's not going to hit it out of the park, but he's going to get the guy from third to home. So, I think in crunch time, Billy Butler's a guy you want on the floor. You don't want the ball in his hands, but you want him on the floor.
Yeah, I'm going to have to disagree. Because I've seen Bartolo Colon move. For being as big as he is and being morbidly obese and possibly having type 2 diabetes, I've seen him move. That guy, he's more athletic than what you would think. Like, he's kind of light on his feet for being, 285 and 5'11". In a battle of attrition, Billy Butler's in better shape, which is hard for me to even say because I don't think he's in that good a shape either. But I think Bartolo Colon can give you some really solid stretches of 5 minutes. I can actually picture him, weirdly enough, having a pretty good Euro step.
I can see it.
Yeah, I'll be the rubber, I guess, because I could see both ways. On one hand, I will say Bartolo has pretty good moves for being 5'11", 285. He had a nice throw a couple years ago where he tossed the ball behind his back with a runner coming at him. Like, it was pretty smooth. Plus, I think just the longevity of it, I think would serve him well. With that said, Billy Butler, he is known for being he's known for kind of being a little bit of a drama queen a little bit, among the Royals fans, he was at least. And so I could see that playing well in the NBA, just, with all the drama, all the pettiness. I could see it, playing well. So it comes down to, like, I think right now, is that what we're talking about right now, or who would have had the best NBA career?
Let's say if we take both players from 2013.
2013. I think I would have to go with Billy Butler just by a hair. And I think it really does come down to he's got the extra inch. He's got 45 less pounds of him. He's going to be a little harder to push around, but he's still sturdy enough that he can put a mean pick on the small forwards out there. And I think he's going to be a poor man's, Charles Barkley.
Raymond Felton is the player comparison.
A very, very poor man's Raymond Felton. All right, that was good. Before we get to the one over-under, we've got just a couple quick show announcements. Like we said, going to do this once a week. Probably we've realized it's only going to be a thing we do in the summer because, life gets busy. And hopefully, we're hoping very soon that we're going to be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and a couple other platforms, so it makes it easier for you to listen. So we'll keep you in the loop on that. Make sure you follow us on our social medias at the crossover_PC. Let's go ahead and do over-unders. Well, the one over-under. We're talking NBA. Conference finals coming up. So over-under for the total number of games in the conference finals. That's a combination between both conference finals, so a max of 14. We set the line at 11.5. What do you guys think?
I'm going to go under. I think that there will be 11. I don't really see the Golden State-Portland series going over 6 games. And I don't know. I also don't think that the Milwaukee-Toronto series is going to go to 7 either.
Yeah, I'm going to I'll go with the under. Western Conference Finals going 6, Golden State in 6, Milwaukee in 5.
Yeah, I'm going under as well. I think Golden State in 5, Milwaukee in 5. Well, that was pretty painless. Before we close up, let's go ahead and hit some shout-outs. I'll just go ahead and give one, and if John and Haston want this to be their shout-out too, that's fine. Yesterday was Mother's Day, so just give a shout-out to the moms of the crossover, Janet Lusmore, Joe Lang. It's also, isn't it Joe's birthday today, John?
It is.
Well, happy birthday, Joe Lang. That's my shout-out. You guys got anybody else?
Nope, same.
That's it.
Okay. You guys have any closing remarks here?
See you next week.
Yep, see you then.
All right. See you next time on the crossover. Yay!
Clear.
Very good. I thought that was good.
Yeah.
Short, concise, not very good. But
that's us.
I left out a story about Billy Butler that I wanted to tell, but I thought I'd already talked enough about him. He, in his retirement, he is taken on playing slow pitch softball pretty competitively in Idaho.
Why did you leave that out? That would have been a great detail.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the dream, though. If that's not the dream, I don't know what is.
I mean, and it's perfectly suited for him. I bet, You know, if they made a body for slow pitch softball, it's him.
I love that. Retire from the sport that you've played professionally to go play the sport not professionally and just against terrible competition.
I just feel like that's the league that he plays slow pitch softball in. It's one of those leagues where you have to hold a beer in your hand at all times. And he like slides. I feel like he slides into every base. Like even if he hit like a
and
double,
probably cusses
he
all
slides
the pitchers out for throwing it too far outside.
Yeah, he like if he hits a double, he slides into first and then gets up and then runs and then slides into second also.
All right.
I think it's
That's
probably
great.
more like he just doesn't run, and like so if he hits a home run, he just walks to the dugout. If he hits it short of the fence, he's like, "Screw it, I'm just walking to the dugout."
That's probably true.
Oh my gosh.